Hey team, my name is Barricade19 and today we're going to have a different kind of video. We've been burning through FE7 pretty quickly and I wanted to take a minute and really look at the characters. This is a series that I intend to do once a week as the Let's Play progresses, as a way to really look at the characters. For the most part, I'm going to be focusing on their value in the actual gameplay, but I will also take some time to explain the character as well. This also gives me a chance to go over characters for you guys without having to force you to watch it as part of the Let's Play or anything like that. And if the thumbnail didn't make it obvious enough, the first character we're going to be taking a closer look at is Oswin. There's no particular reason we started with Oswin, I just like him. I've only ever heard good things about Oswin, and to be honest, there really isn't a whole lot of bad things to say about him. But what draws us to Oswin? Is it his steadfast loyalty to the throne? His pragmatic and calm demeanor? Or is it his monstrous base stats? And why don't these same things draw speedrunners and low turn count players to him the same way? Let's take a closer look, shall we? Oswin is an armor knight from Ostia, a country that in Fire Emblem The Binding Blade is said to be famous for its armor knights. He's very loyal to the Ostian throne, and therefore Hector. After Hector sneaks off to go help his friend Eliwood find his father, Hector's older brother Uther, the Marquis of Ostia, sends Oswin along with Sarah to go and assist him in his journey. Later on in the story, it turns out that Oswin is one of the only people aware of Marquess Uther's death, but he doesn't tell Hector because he thinks that it will distract him from the task at hand. This causes a rift between him and Hector, but later Eliwood convinces Hector to resolve it, and everybody's happy again. Now that we've taken a moment to discuss who Oswin is, it's time to look at how Oswin is, or more accurately, how Oswin performs in battle. Oswin's base stats are honestly quite silly. His strength and defense are seemingly unnecessarily high, while his speed and luck actually seem to be a bit low for his unprecedented high level. This appears to be a very intentional decision by the developers so as to keep him from absolutely massacring all the enemies with his incredible damage output. Now, it is important to note that while his stats seem so thoroughly high right when you get Oswin, they aren't exactly perfect. Again, his damage output is severely hindered by his low speed, since it's very unlikely that he'll be doubling anything past chapter 13 or 14, the 2 chapters after you get him. Again, the developers probably just didn't want to have basically a second Marcus to trivialize the entire game. They wanted to really make you think about how to place and use Oswin, which I can appreciate. His join time is also incredible, as he shows up in the second chapter of both Eliwood and Hector's stories. So you have him long enough that you can train him as you see fit. As far as growth rates go, Oswin's are all pretty meh. You'll notice that aside from his immaculate defense growth of 55% and his rather high HP growth of 90%, they're all kind of low. Again, he's not supposed to carry you through the entire game, just get you through the early game while simultaneously allowing your other units to gain experience points and grow, since he doesn't really kill a whole lot of enemies. Oswin won't be doing a whole lot of growing as the game progresses, and that is honestly just fine. But growth rates aren't everything by any means. Oswin's bases are more than enough to maintain him up through the mid-game, where he'll still be able to consistently tank physical hits with little problem. So then what's the issue? Why don't you ever see speedrunners or low turn count players using Oswin? Well, as a unit, he has one massive, glaring issue. 4 movement. This doesn't sound like a huge issue to the average observer, but this severely cripples Oswin's ability to get work done. He can only move 4 spaces per turn, while the rest of your units can move 5, some of them 7 or 8 spaces in a single turn. This means that Oswin will always be falling behind, no matter what. Even after he promotes, he only gains 1 extra movement, putting him where everybody else used to be. Theoretically, you could give him boots to rectify this issue, which in my opinion isn't exactly the worst thing you could do, but if you're going for the lowest turn count possible, why would you give the boots to Oswin just to let him catch up when you could easily give those boots instead to Raven or God forbid Marcus? Both are better offensively, and the extra movement gives them a chance to be more versatile on player phase. See what I'm saying? Oswin is by no means a bad unit. I actually really like Oswin, both in his cool-headed character, as well as his pretty solid gameplay. But he isn't exactly the unit for optimal gameplay. He's certainly a serviceable unit, but he won't be doing as much as the rest of your army since he can't really cover the distance that others can. But if you're smart with your positioning, and at the prep screen, Oswin can be a truly valuable addition to the team. So yeah, that's all I really have to say about Oswin. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, because I really enjoyed making it. Not entirely sure at the moment who we're going to be covering next week, but I'm sure it'll be interesting enough to watch since this franchise has so many interesting characters to offer. Please leave a like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.